What I'm about to share with you is one of my favorite passages of scripture. It's taken from Isaiah chapter 6. Now, I want us to meditate on this verse or these verses as we have already started a new year. It reads as such: In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face. The seraphim, they're covering their faces. So these beings have 6 wings. With 2 they're covering their face. With 2 they're covering their feet. And with 2 they're flying, right? One called to another. So there's multiple seraphim, and they're calling to each other. It seems to be 2, but it could be more. One called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the foundations of the thresholds shook at the voice of him who called, at the seraphim who were worshipping Yahweh. And the house was filled with smoke. And Isaiah said, Woe is me, for I am lost. I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, Yahweh of hosts. So let's go right back to verse 1. So what we're reading here is Isaiah's account of him having a vision of Yahweh in his throne room in heaven, where there's angels called seraphim worshipping him. This vision was given to Isaiah as Yahweh was radically calling Isaiah into ministry. But it contains a truth that I want us to hold on to for this new year. It's a truth that I hold on to in everyday life. I love this passage of scripture. From verse 1 he says, I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. So Isaiah is seeing a picture of Yahweh, of the one supreme, only true God in heaven, as being seated on a throne, high and lifted up, far out of our reach, right? God is sovereign. He is a ruler that is in control of all of heaven, all of earth, and all of hell. He is in control of every single thing. He reigns supreme over every single thing. His throne is high and lifted up. His throne is far out of reach for anyone. He is high and lifted up. And the train of his robe, right? A king's robe speaks of his majesty and his supremacy, right? A king, when he conquers a kingdom, would normally add the robe of that king whose kingdom he conquered onto his own robe. So if Yahweh's robe fills the temple, that means that he reigns supreme over all of the kings of the earth. He reigns over all of the demonic powers. He reigns over all. Even the angels of heaven worship him, declaring his holiness. Holiness means that God is separate. He is separated from everything and everyone because he has such a high standard for conduct. He has such a high standard of operation that we could never really approach him, right? The seraphim worshipped him, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts, right? That is the word for God, Yahweh, Yahweh of hosts, right? And the hosts refers to the angelic beings in heaven, right? He is their ruler, right? He's the one that commands all of the angels of heaven and tells them what to do, right? And there's here the seraphim, which is a type of angel. They're worshiping Yahweh and they're saying, Holy, holy, holy. You are so high and set apart, Yahweh. You are the one true supreme King, the ruler of the heavens and the earth and all that is in it, even hell, right? The whole earth is full of his glory, right? The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and we show forth God's glory because we are so complex and he created us, right? We show forth his glory because he created us by well, he molded us humans, but creation, he created the heavens and the earth by speaking it, right? It shows how powerful Yahweh really is, right? If you read Genesis, right, we get an account of how Yahweh created the heavens and the earth, right, by speaking it into existence. That is how powerful Yahweh is. So for this new year, I want us to meditate on the fact that Yahweh is the King that is on the throne in heaven. He is the one that reigns supreme. Trust in his sovereignty. Know that he is in control of every single thing that happened last year and every single thing that will happen for this year. Trust him, worship him, serve him. He works all things together for good to those that love him and are called according to his purposes. So if you love God, Yahweh, and you have surrendered your life to Jesus Christ, who is his son, he will work all things together for your good for this new year. And he is very much capable of doing so because he is the one that is on the throne in heaven. He is the one the seraphim worship. He is the Lord of hosts. He is the one the angels of heaven take their commands from. He is high and lifted up, and the train of his robe fills the temple. He reigns supreme. And to end this video, I'm just going to read from Psalm chapter 97. It reads, Yahweh reigns. Let the earth rejoice. Let the many coastlands be glad. Clouds and thick darkness are all around him. Righteousness and justice are the foundations of his throne. Fire goes before him and burns up all of his adversaries all around. His lightnings light up the world. The earth sees and trembles. The mountains melt like wax before the Lord of all the earth. The heavens proclaim his righteousness, and all the peoples see his glory. All worshippers of images are put to shame, who make their boast in the worthless idols. Worship him, all you gods, you worthless idols. Zion hears and is glad, and the daughters of Judah rejoice, because of your judgments, O Lord. For you, O Lord, are the most high over all the earth. You are exalted far above all false gods. O you who love the Lord, hate evil. He preserves the lives of his saints. He delivers them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the upright in heart. Rejoice in the Lord, O you righteous, and give thanks to his holy name, Yahweh. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to read one more psalm because it's just so good. Psalm 99. The Lord reigns. Yahweh reigns. Let the people tremble. He sits enthroned upon the cherubim. Let the earth quake. The Lord is great in Zion. He is exalted over all the peoples. Let them praise your great and awesome name, Yahweh. Holy is he. The King in his might loves justice. Yahweh loves justice. You have established equity. You have executed justice and righteousness in Jacob. Exalt the Lord our God. Worship at his footstool. Holy is he. Moses and Aaron were among his priests. Samuel also were among those who called upon his name. They called to Yahweh and he answered them. In the pillar of the cloud he spoke to them. He kept his testimonies. They kept his testimonies and the statutes that he gave them. O Lord our God, you answered them. You were a forgiving God to them, but an avenger of their wrongdoings. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his holy mountain. For the Lord our God is holy. Yahweh is holy. I just wanted to remind you all, anytime you see Lord in all capital letters in the Old Testament, it is the Hebrew name for God, Yahweh, that was given to Moses. And here we see all throughout the Psalms, Lord in all capital letters. It is referring to Yahweh. Yahweh our God is holy and he reigns. So take that with you into the rest of 2025. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.